to have you with us here on Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for stopping by. You know, things are interesting when we have to get my personal favorite fast food mascot Hamburglar involved. As on today's show, we have an interesting development as we continue to cover this coaching search in Seattle. We told you yesterday how Shane Waldron was not returning as the Seahawks offensive coordinator, off to Chicago to be the Bears' new OC. And now he's apparently trying to recruit some Seahawks staffers to join him in Chicago on the Bears staff. Listen to this from Jonathan Jones of CBS. New Bears OC Shane Waldron wasting no time in trying to fill out his staff. He's setting up interviews with Seahawks coaches Chad Morton, Sanjay and Kerry Joseph, among others, for various staff positions per sources. Now, in the interest of transparency, I will say that John Schneider did tell all the Seahawks coaches they are free to look for other jobs, that some of them might be retained, might not be retained. So it's not a given that they necessarily have a job in Seattle this upcoming season. So they do have to look out for their best interests. But still, Shane wasting no time to try to steal our staffers. I'll say this, though. I'm actually okay with this because it signals that the Seahawks are getting a complete overhaul, fresh start when it comes to this coaching staff, specifically the offensive staff. So while it is annoying, Shane Waldron trying to go after our guys and take them with him, this actually could end up working out. Could be a blessing in disguise for Seattle to start over with this offense that needs a complete overhaul anyway. But that doesn't change the fact that we're getting in that comment section and spamming F Shane. Let Shane Waldron know what's up. From my friend to now my enemy, Shane Waldron. Say it with me. Text, turn on your mic. F Shane, F Shane, F Shane, F Shane. Besides just what he even did as an offensive coordinator this year, that's reason enough to say F Shane. But now trying to take our guys too, spam it in the comments section. Let them know what is up. This episode of Seahawks Today is sponsored by Tushy. Deep down, we all know that using toilet paper alone leaves nasty and smelly bacteria behind in our butts. Tushy has finally made number 2 cleanup more hygienic and better for the environment. You now can have a fresh stream of water, the same water as your sink or shower, to clean up your bum after every poop. Tushy's bidets are easy to set up on any toilet. In under 10 minutes, you can set up at your home bidet that will change your life forever. I'm not even kidding. This product is life-changing. And if we're being honest here, it feels pretty good too. For a limited time, our viewers get 10% off their entire order at hellotushy.com. Go to HELLOTUSHY.com and use code CHAT for 10% off. It's time to get rid of those skid marks once and for all. I love my Tushy, and it's great knowing not only am I taking better care of myself, but I'm also helping the environment. Toilet paper is expensive nowadays. Do yourself a favor by saving money and being more confident and clean with Tushy. Get that fresh out of the shower feeling at hellotushy.com. For a limited time, our viewers get 10% off your entire order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your order at HELLOTUSHY.com with promo code CHAT. It's time to back that ass up with confidence. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Back that ass up. Back that ass up. Great song. All right. John Schneider, if you recall, recently when he was talking about what he's looking for in the next Seattle Seahawks head coach, it was one of the big points of emphasis was on staff development. He wants a head coach that can develop the staffers around him. And so when you look at that, when you think for the next OC, very important thing of what they could potentially do to teach other coaches, right? Listen to this from Schneider. Staff development and procurement. I think that's extremely important, regardless if it's an offensive guy, a defensive guy, or a special teams guy. Now, the way I look at it, I've told you this for the last several days, and I'll continue to reiterate. It sounds like the Seahawks are leaning towards going a defensive guy to be their next head coach. And with the way the league is going, with the emphasis on offense, that means the offensive coordinator hire is extra important here. It's almost as important as the head coaching hire that the Seahawks are going to make if they're going to go that route, because essentially when you hire a defensive coach and the OC then becomes kind of the head coach of the offense, essentially. And so if it were up to me, if I'm hiring the offensive coordinator, if I get to make that call, my first phone call is to Eric Bieniemy. That is the man I would want to lead my offense if I could have anybody that's available out there. Most recently with the Washington Commanders, spent time with Kansas City, with the Chiefs. We're going to do a deep dive on Eric Bieniemy in just a moment, tell you everything you need to know, show some numbers on Bieniemy in just a second. But what do you think about Bieniemy? Should the Seahawks hire Eric Bieniemy as their next OC? Y for yes, N for no. Weigh in the comments section. Tell me what you think. You like Bieniemy as the next OC? I don't think he's going to get a head coaching job this go-round, so he should be available to be an OC for somebody. Weigh in. Tell me what you think. We are covering this Seahawks team like no one else is throughout this entire offseason as we bring you daily Seattle Seahawks news and rumors. We have updates on the coaching search every single day on the channel until they hire somebody. We're talking trades, free agency, mock drafts, all of it and more right here on Seahawks Today by Chad Sports. Subscribe now for free. Join the family. Stay alert of what's happening with your favorite team. Lock us in. Subscribe now, and you'll be glad you did. All right, let's get to know Eric Bieniemy a little bit. This year goes to the Commanders to be their offensive coordinator and full-time play caller, something that he was not doing in Kansas City with Andy Reid there. But you look at what he did this past year. Things didn't quite finish that great, but certainly showed how good of a coach he is, and that offense was very good with Sam Howell calling the play, running the offense. You got the quarterback spot for much of this year, and somebody that's been around the league now for a while, with Kansas City previously, the Minnesota Vikings several years ago. And the thing that I keep on reiterating when it comes to Eric Bieniemy that I think is a very important point, Bieniemy is the adult in the room. I don't know who the next Seahawks head coach is going to be. None of us do. But what you can do essentially is you can let Bieniemy be the bad guy of sorts. He can be the one that really just holds the team and others accountable with his presence, with what he can do, right? And to me, if we talk about staff development and making other coaches better, that's where Eric Bieniemy, I think, can play a crucial role for this Seahawks team in that sense. Besides just the X's and O's of what he's done working with Patrick Mahomes and Sam Howell and all that, just the accountability factor. I think one of the big problems we saw with this Kansas City team in 2023 was they were missing that adult in the room to hold Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and that offense accountable. Here's the numbers of the offenses under Eric Bieniemy the past 5 seasons from Kansas City until recently with Washington. We mentioned how things fell off. Ended at 19.4 points per game, but was much better than that for most of the year. Last year, first in points per game, 21st the year prior. 2020, they were, or 28.2 points per game in 2021, fourth, 2020, sixth, 2019, fifth, top 6 in all those categories. And you want to talk about a difference between last year and this year. I know the Chiefs offense played better in the postseason, but their points per game total was 15th in the league. And I know everybody talks about the Chiefs and their receiving core, how just ass they are, basically. Think about this. That team offensively is very similar to what they were a year ago. I mean, you don't have Juju, but you got Rashee Rice now. I think that's an upgrade. And they fell all the way down to 15th. I think a lot of it had to do with Eric Bieniemy not being around. I look at this Seahawks team and what we saw from Shane Waldron of this team not having an offensive identity, right? They tell us they want to run the football to open up the passing game, but that just never really was the case. This offense needs a radical change on offense, and Bieniemy could be the change that this team needs of really being explosive, a little up-tempo, spread you out, something that would be far different than what Shane Waldron was doing with the Seahawks offense. You look at this team this past year, Think about this. 21.4 points per game. That was 17th in the league. Yards per game, 22nd. Third down conversion rate, which we talked a lot about this year, 36%. 23rd in the league. Red zone touchdown percentage, 26. Touchdowns per game, 21st. With all that talent, with all the weapons the Seahawks had, there was no reason why that offense should have been in the bottom half of all those categories there. They underperformed, and Shane Waldron was a big reason why the Seahawks had the struggles that they did. More to come in just a moment, but I ask you guys, what is the Seahawks' biggest need on offense this season? I really like this offense and the players that are coming back. We'll talk about those guys in just a second, but what's the biggest need? Let me know what you think. In all honesty, I think the Seahawks offense can be special if you have the right coaching and make the right call of who the offensive coordinator is, a guy like Bieniemy, for example, then the sky's the limit for this group. I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. I think this receiving core, for one, can be a top 3 receiving core in football with the talent that they have. I mean, Geno is more than capable of running the offense, and even if you pick out his replacement of sorts, Geno is going to be just fine, at least for one more year, potentially. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet are a very good 1-2 punch. DK's coming off an 1,100-yard season. Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jake Bobo. And then, I mean, a couple key pieces on the offensive line. I know that we talked about the offensive line struggles this year, but you get young players with Charles Cross, Anthony Bradford, Abraham Lucas, Will Dissly coming back. Young guys that are still developing there. And we talk about the core and the young guys of returning players. The Seahawks have 8 total offensive players on rookie contracts. What does that mean? That means they are cheap, okay? That means you're not paying them a whole lot of money heading into next year. All that talent and rookie contracts. Now you got to capitalize. Now, in the words of Tom Downey, you got to take advantage of it, right? So that's what I'm looking at. It's very crucial to get this offensive coordinator hire right. We'll see who the head coach is, but I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling Bieniemy to be the OC. Thanks for watching today's show. If you made it to the end of today's video, that means you're a real one. So, spam real one in the comments section. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.